Yeah, so this is new. Not really, I've done gaming videos, I've done Tiger King videos, which I never finished because I couldn't take it all the way until the end. I couldn't do it. But yeah, this format is a new thing for delivering updates about me. And I figured I would start with a rather huge update to my life. So I just got signed. First by my film and television talent agency, STW, which I was freaking ecstatic about. That happened 2 weeks ago. And then by Coastal Management, which is my print and commercial modeling agency, which I got signed to last week. And I am out of the moon. Is that the right phrase? Out of the moon? Out of the moon. Anyway, I am still in shock, and I haven't stopped smiling for the past, 2.5 weeks at this point. These are goals that I have been aiming for years, and I've ended up where I set my bullseye, and that is one of those feelings that you can't really explain unless you feel it. And I just wanted to get on camera and share that with you guys. As stuttery as I am, hopefully I warm up and I get back into the groove of things. Maybe I should play some soca or something. Anyway, so yeah, I have gotten a couple questions about the whole process, what I did, because I know, obviously, I call myself an introvert. I am an introvert. As much as I'm loud and boisterous and flamboyant with people that I get to know, essentially my energy comes from meditating in my own space and playing around with all of my random gadgets, whatever. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to come on here and share whatever information that I can about some things. And, we could always do this again later if you want to do a Q&A. I can pop something up on my Instagram. You can put some questions in there and I can come back and answer them. I don't care. I'm open, as long as you weren't a dick to me. All right. So, yeah. One of the first questions that people keep asking me, and this was way back in my headshots days, was who takes your headshots, my film and television and commercial television headshots? I do. And, in the same vein, who took the portfolio photos for my modeling portfolio? I did. So I know I've mentioned it, especially on my other photography and tech account, more photography than tech. If you don't know what that is, go visit it now. It's at @Gali_G on Instagram. So I have spoken vaguely about and posted vaguely about me being a lighting technician. And I can't say how important knowing lights is to these photos that I take, these videos that I take. And it's just something that has been priceless to know. I've been obsessed with lights since college. I don't know why that has always been my favorite part of film, the lighting, but it always has. You'd think that at this point I would have kind of dissected it a little bit more. Why is it my favorite part? Because you can think of framing the same way, right? It sets a mood, it sets a tone, it sets a feeling. I don't know, I just happen to feel like it gives more allowance for creativity than plain framing. Maybe I'm obviously biased. Anyway, I love lights and I love electricity. That's weird, right? I think I got into well, if you want to be a gaffer, if you want to work with the lights on set, you have to know a little bit about electricity, at least a little bit, you know. And once I got into it, I thought it was extremely interesting. I've always been like this weird techie, artsy type of person that always liked mixing ideas of tech and art. You know, I've been a web developer, I've been a programmer, and at one point I took a free, or like one of those open courses for like circuits. Robotics has always really interested me, so I guess this was all in the same vein, you know. If I was into lighting and electrical knowledge was something that was part of it, of course I would eventually jump into that, you know. And just the artistic side of lighting too, you know, how you light for comedy versus drama, how you light for film noir versus lighting in color, you know, using natural light, diffusions, gels, and all the different ways that you can mix and match these things to evoke a feeling, to evoke a mood, to evoke an era. There's so many things that you can do with light, and the point is, I'm obsessed. And it's come in handy. So, you know, these things can rake up. Getting your portfolios done, getting your headshots done, they're not cheap. So I am blessed. I do not, you know, forget, or I do not lack the acknowledgement that I am blessed to have this knowledge and that I can utilize it. Why not? If I know it, do it. And so I did. And it turns out that people like them. Like them enough to sign me. That's a lie. It's not only the headshots and the portfolios that matter, right? But, you know, they were a big part of it, and I'm glad that I knew how to do it. If you want to hire me to take your headshots or your modeling portfolio pictures, hit me up. Go to lilig.com and contact me on the form there, the contact form there, or you can just go ahead and punch in contact@leanna-george.com and we'll talk. Besides that, yeah, I don't know. I'm all over the place because I didn't write anything out about what I wanted to say about this. I'm just over here rambling, and I knew this was gonna happen. So yeah, bi-coastal management. I'm still like geeked. I don't know. It's wild. I am so grateful to be on board with my reps. What else? Okay, let's just get to the questions, Leanna. Another question I got was, how do you attract representatives? How do you get signed by one in the most general sense? And I feel like I'm the wrong person to be asking. This is the first time that this has happened. This is the first time I've been signed to anything. So I'll try to recap what I did. So a lot of it, I'm not even gonna lie, a lot of it was luck. And then the other part of it had to have been preparation. You have to, in a general sense, you must be, and for anything, even if you're not going out for a rep, even if you're not searching for anyone, you're not in the area of looking for casting directors yet, you must always stay in a state of preparation, of learning, of openness, of gathering information, of eating it up, you know? And I'm just naturally like that. I love learning new things. I don't know. I feel like it's become a habit in me from back when I was disabled. And it was really getting to me. I was high on anxiety and depression, and what I could do was learn things. Fortunately, thankfully, we were in the age of the internet, so it isn't hard. I always say go to our Lord and Savior Google and YouTube. There's so many things that you can literally learn and turn into a profession on the internet. But the thing is, it's up to you to motivate yourself to do it. And I've just had it because there were moments, long periods of my life, where there was nothing for me to do but improve my skill in whatever way that I could. But to pick up interests because I was given so much time to do so, And I'm so grateful that the habit stuck with me. So I will say that when it comes to acting, in addition to it being like literal therapy for me, ways for me to figure out my own personhood through acting, I love it, and that's why I love it. I'm also was constantly checking out classes that were like, oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, I love playing video games, video game voiceovers. Why don't I, give that a shot? Oh, commercial auditions. I may not be my strongest suit, so why don't I give that a shot? Alexander Technique. I remember the one time I tried Alexander Technique before the quarantine, and I've never seen the world so colorful. And so, I might try an online Alexander Technique class. By the way, it's amazing. I took it with Jennifer Kilo at T. Schreiber. It was a Zoom class, which I know sounds absurd for an Alexander Technique class, but it has helped me so much. I still use it to this day. I still use some. I don't do the extent that I should on a daily basis, and I'd like to get back to that point where I am living with this technique. And I don't want to harp on about it too much because Alexander Technique is really strange to explain. It's like a way of physically moving in the world that helps clear your mind, helps you be grounded, helps you be present and see the beauty in the moment. It's almost like a physical mind connection. And, you'd think that it wouldn't work through technology, through something like Zoom, but at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of techniques, and you learn them and you put them to use. And you can do that on Zoom. You can do it on person, anywhere. Okay, so enough advertising Alexander Technique. So yes, you have to stay in a state of being open and being prepared, always. So at the end, and in mid-March, I would say that a lot of the classes that are on my resume now were not there. And I might have taken about four classes since then. Not to mention workshop, agency showcase, agent meeting, agent workshop, agent seminar, workshop, casting director workshops. You have to be in these things all the time because the point is to be, for people to know you exist. They have to know that you're there and what you're doing in order to take interest in what you're doing, right? And I mean, honestly, and I'm not exaggerating when I say if I can do it, you can do it, because I'm serious, because I don't really venture out of my spaces. I don't really go out and actively or just leisurely talk to people, so but I made it a point in my mind that I am going to, I knew my goal. I knew I wanted casting directors to remember me, to know who I am. I knew that I wanted to get an agent, and I knew I wanted to be under Bicoastal. I knew that. And so, with these targets, with these goals in mind, I then set to work. And for me, I tell people it's never, I don't think it's the most fruitful thing to constantly focus on the big red bullseye all the time, because sometimes that bullseye is daunting. Sometimes it seems so big and you feel in the moment when you're beginning that you can't necessarily reach it. And I feel like those are the moments where you have to step back and you have to compartmentalize. You have to break it's a road, and you have to break it into short pieces. You know how when you take long distance trips, you don't really think of it of let's just, like, I take road trips sometimes from New York to Atlanta, and it doesn't help to think of it like okay, let's just get this, we're just driving to Atlanta, just to think of the whole length of it. People tend to think of it as in, we just passed New York. Oh, we just passed through DC. We just passed through North Carolina. We just passed through Virginia, South Carolina. You know what I mean? It's the same idea. You want to break the steps up into increments, and it feels easier. It feels more manageable that way. So if you know, for example, that your goal is for a certain number of CDs to have you in mind because you love their shows and you want to be on them, no stalkero. If you know that you have these CDs in mind, you'll then say, okay, what do I need to do? What do CDs like to see? And if you don't know the questions to ask yourself, again, our Lord Google and YouTube. People have done this. Many people have done this before, and there's a wealth of knowledge to tap into on the internet. And so, you ask yourself these questions. CDs want to know that you know what you're doing, that you can act, which means that your resume needs to reflect these things, either in experience or in training. And I wouldn't say that you have to be a savant. You don't have to be good at everything. Your resume doesn't have to be packed in every sense of the word. Of course, if it is and you're amazing like that, then more power to you. But it's not 100% necessary, I'd say just be exceptional in one area of your resume. If you have exceptional credits, lots of leads in short films or something like that, lots of really good footage on your, not even a lot of good footage on your reel, just, 2 or 3 really, really good clips. That's all you need. If maybe you don't have as many good credits as you want, maybe like 2 leads and a couple supportings and short films or something like that, then that means you have to buff out your training. That your training has to be above and beyond. And again, try to figure out something for 2 or 3 good clips on your reel. And because honestly, they don't look past at max the first 2 clips. They're not gonna sit on your reel forever. So 2 or 3 clips is all you need. And I would just say, yeah, at that point, when you've got your stuff together and it doesn't have to be perfect, you're ready to start meeting them, because it's not so much a matter of how do you present yourself to them right now. Of course, it's always, first impressions are a big deal, but these are people that you want to create relationships with. You want them to remember you. You want to see them again, or maybe like their Instagram posts. I don't know. I swear I don't stalk these people. Yeah. So, it just takes knowing what your goal is and cutting out a realistic path toward these goals. You know that you're gonna need some clips on a reel. If you're wanting to go into commercial or print modeling or something like that, you're gonna need some portfolio photos. Just think of the things that you're gonna need. And you know what? At first I was shocked, but now I'm not surprised or shocked or anything to say that a lot of these casting directors and a lot of these agents are like really nice. And it would make sense. I know there's like this stereotype of being in show business and everything is so fast paced and nobody has time for you, and you're wasting my time and hurry up, what do you want? And you feel like you're going to go into these workshops and these seminars and it's going to be like that, but most of the casting directors and agents that I have had the pleasure to meet are wonderful people. So open. To the point where I get super emotional. To the point where the lack of expectation of them being such wonderful people touches me. it's amazing that in this hardcore industry, especially coming from a background of grip and electrics, you know, of big budget grip and electrics, you know, like working on Elementary, working on Ray Donovan stuff, you know, where the culture is very tough, the culture is very intense. You know, you'd think that on this side of things, it would be across the board, that everybody would be intense and hard and rough, and we're not playing games with you. And while, you know, time is money, and this is a huge industry monetary industry in terms of monetary value, monetary value is a weird phrase for it. You know what I mean? You do have to keep that in mind. You have to be very succinct. You have to get straight to the point. When you sit down in front of a casting director, it's not about having a random conversation about your life history before you go into your monologue or your scene. They're there to see what you can do for them. Like, we know why we're here, right? And it's not to hear your life story. That's the truth, you know. These are wonderful people, but we have to stay focused here. I would say that's the theme of this entire industry. Whatever side of the camera you're on, stay focused on what you're supposed to be doing, because time in this industry is money. It is, in any sense of the word. Get to the point and be good at it. And which brings me to another point, that you want to train, you want to make sure your skills are there, right? And honestly, I'm not trying to toot my own, I swear to God, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Well, maybe a little bit, because it's fun. But you do have to know when you're ready. And if you can't sense that out, I would say you have to entrust your training to someone who can tell you you're ready, you know? And I'm so grateful for so many of my instructors. Oh God, like, first and foremost, Anthony Abeson. And I feel so bad. I know all the Abesonites are like, they can understand going missing for like a couple of months and feeling like this intense guilt. I miss them. I miss that class, and I miss Anthony so much. And I've got to hand it to Anthony, because and I know I'm still just a little fish in a big pond, but as far as I've come to this point, I could not have done it without Anthony Abeson's training and technique. His technique, if I break down a script, if any casting director has ever told me no notes, that was wonderful, no adjustments, first take was great, it was all because I have learned to break down my scripts from Anthony, and his technique is essentially genius. And if you're in New York, I would highly suggest you going to audition for his classes, because the information, and he's magic. He's a magic man. I don't know what else to say. I have a post on my blog about him. He's magic. Amazing. Some other big ups. Bill Coelius, the sweetest commercial teacher ever. At T. Schreiber, but I took some private lessons with him because the T. Schreiber class was full when I wanted to take it. Bill Coelius, amazing commercial audition teacher, so positive. And I kind of wanted to ask him the entire time if some of his stuff was was based in Alexander technique, but I never asked him. I don't know. When I was learning from him, some of the things that he was saying were like kind of mirroring the things that I was learning in my AT classes with Jennifer, and it was just interesting. The point being that self-doubt, especially for artists, is a thing that happens, right? Especially for actors, putting yourself out there and making these choices that are all your own and not knowing if that is what they're looking for. But I would say that time and time again, what you're going to hear is, don't worry about what they're looking for. Go in and just do you. Do what you created. Trust your choices. You know, Bill likes to say, enter in an act of service. Don't think of it as, what do I got to do to get this part? Think of it, or to get signed by you. What do I got to do for you to love me? Think of it as, how can I help? You know? What part of me can I present to you that'll help you out? And you know, that does wonders for your nerves. It does wonders for your headspace. But like, I can list classes all day, but there's no one class that helped me. It's all like amalgamated in just this idea of comfort, of being settled with yourself, knowing that you're enough, you know? And if you don't feel that way, I'd say to find a great trainer, a great acting teacher that does help you feel that way. Because I know a lot of instructors out there scar their students, and they're vulnerable students, and it makes them anxious, it makes them lose self-confidence, and if that's the type of environment you're in, that's not the type of environment you need to be in, and you should get out immediately. You need support. You need to be able to have confidence in yourself first and foremost. That's it, you know? Oh God, what else? I guess what we can talk about next is the idea of being in a state of preparedness, like what that means. And I'm not good at explaining things unless I give examples, if that makes sense. So what I mean by being in a state of preparedness is basically like when the people who are on your target list, when the areas that are on your target list happen to approach you, which, you know, we'll go into the luck side of things, but when they happen to approach you, which if you are consistently in classes and trying to, you know, in the right times and places, meet these people and meet these institutions, they will gain curiosity about you. And if you're prepared to tell them about yourself, if your package is prepared to show off your skill and who you are, then that is ideal. You don't want to be caught in a situation where, you know, your targets come and knocking on your door, and because you're like, I'll do it tomorrow, or you're sitting in this idea that you'll be chasing them until you get them and not that they will ever approach you, so you can do the preparing whenever you feel like it, then you're going to find yourself in moments where you're not ready when you should have been. So for example, when I signed with STW, I wrote bicoastal. I wrote bicoastal because I wanted to clarify some things about my contract, and which I'm not going to get into. So I had met the founder and the owner of bicoastal at a workshop, and you know, it's easy to feel like the silence that comes after a workshop means something, means that someone didn't like you or they weren't interested. And it's easy to get into your feelings about it, you know, but that might not necessarily be the case. There are a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of reasons why a casting director or an agent, you might not hear from them, especially casting directors. I think the least of it has to do with you, you know? Of course, fit is a right thing. Of course, fit is something that is applicable if you feel like you're the right fit for each other. But I don't think that it's fruitful or valid to get in your feelings as in, you know, I suck, or they hate me, or they suck and they don't get me. They don't get how great I am. It's not about that, you know. And to top it off, that these are very busy people with huge things to, like, lots of things on their schedule, and you know, if even more so if you're not shooting them a little update every now and then. Please do not bother these people on their personal internet spaces, or like send them something every day or every freaking all the time. Don't do that. But if you have an update in your life that you think would be useful for them to know about, it's fine to send it to them and remind them that you exist. If you're doing that, then that's fine, but don't dwell on why you're not hearing back. It doesn't help. It doesn't help anything. Just prepare, just work. And anyway, I'm digressing from the story. So I met her in a workshop. And I wrote back in because, like I said, bicoastal had been on my radar for a very long time. And I wanted to know some things. I wanted to clarify some things between my contract and if I plan to pursue bicoastal in the future, what would happen if this was in my current contract and blah, blah, blah. How would bicoastal see that, and would they still consider me? And just off of writing that email alone, she remembered who I was from the workshop. She remembered our great conversation. She remembered what I was telling her about my trajectory. And she called me in. She said, hey, can you come in on Wednesday? Well, I didn't expect it. I was literally just trying to get an answer to my question. And the thing is, by that point, when I wrote her, I was like, I'm still finishing up on my photographs. I'll have something to send to you officially, but just to get my question answered now, I'd like to just ask it. And then she called me in and told me to bring my materials, to bring my photos. Now, had I been, prior to that date, had I been in a state of, I could go to the studio and take these photos whenever, because I'm going to chase bicoastal. I'll tell them when I want to, get in contact with them with my books and stuff like that. Had I not done it when I was ready to do it and at my earliest convenience and to the best of my ability, I would not have been prepared when she told me to come in on Wednesday, I would have had to have been like, oh, see about the photos, I didn't do them yet, but I'm planning to, and da 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 da. Anything that comes after that doesn't matter. Okay? There's no, I think I'm planning to blah blah. Actions speak the loudest, So fortunately, I was prepared, and I had been preparing for this moment for a while. So at the point that she told me to come in on Wednesday, I was just finishing retouching my book. It was pretty much done, and so I had something ready to go in on Wednesday. All these. I don't know. I didn't even know what I was thinking for the prior 2 days, because she told me to wear certain things in case they wanted to take some Polaroids, and I was like, I have no idea what's happening. And on Wednesday, they decided to sign me. I'm still so geeked, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, so it's very important that you take control of your own career and do what you can to prepare. Always be training. Always stay in a state of preparation, of upgrading your resume or your reel or your lookbook or whatever it is that you're trying to do. I know that's easier said than done for a lot of people, because everybody can't light and shoot. Can teach yourself. I did. Okay. So regardless, stay prepared. And I mentioned luck before. I mentioned that I was going to talk about that, and luck having to do with when these things just drop into your lap. Being prepared, like the two go hand in hand. When your moment comes, you want to be prepared for your lucky moment, And if you're doing what you need to do, if you're going out and meeting these people and meeting these institutions, then eventually they're gonna, you might not hear them you might not see them in your inbox, but if they're interested and you're constantly meeting them, I guarantee you that some of them have already researched you, have already gone to your website, gone to your, especially keep your social media up to date, keep it acceptable, if you know what I mean. Because social media is where they go to figure out if you are an okay human being that they can mesh with. And, just these people will be researching you if you're seeking them out. So just have all of your ducks in a row. Not to digress from the conversation of luck, I wanted to talk about that because there are a lot of things that had to fall into place for me to get to this point as well. Keep saying it's a bad habit. I've taken enough improv to know that I shouldn't keep doing that. So luck. So I was furloughed from my job mid-March, and fortunately for me, I found this particular situation to be a situation in which I could learn and grow and have the space and time and the extra funds, because I was getting the COVID benefits, the extra COVID benefits, to do what I wanted to do, to attend my workshops, to get more training, to get more better equipment, to just rent studio spaces when I needed it, and I know that this time has been hard for a lot of people. It's not lost on me that everybody isn't having a good experience during this time, especially those who have lost people that are near and dear to them. So with that in mind, with that always in mind, I'd say if you are someone who is lucky enough to have been blessed with the time and extra funds to get your dream done or to work on something that you've always wanted to work on, take it. This moment will not last forever for you. It won't. Granted, the world is going to change very drastically after all of this is over. I don't know when it's technically going to be over, but after it's over, the world is going to look quite different. But this is precious time. And if you're not sick and if you're not suffering, and some people are still working their jobs without getting the COVID relief payments and without the extra time to work on the things that they really want to work on. And if you're put in a position to do so, take the opportunity. You must. And, this is in a general sense why I've always been the hugest advocate for universal healthcare and universal, if you want to get extreme, universal basic income, to be quite honest, if not just a supplement like what we've been getting, but also to just raise wages for working people, because this opportunity for me was priceless. These things could not have happened for me had I not had the extra time and the extra funds to work on what it is that I would like to do with my life, or more, let's say the things that I would like to add to what I'm doing with my life, because I love lighting. And I would say that, it's going to be the third time I repeat it, but I can't repeat it enough. It's so important that when you're given time and opportunity to do what it is you want to do, you don't waste the time. Because a lot of us, especially in this country, are struggling, and a lot of us don't have time and we don't have cash. So if you have a dream and the space opens up for you to take it, to grab it now. Don't wait, because the opportunity might come looking for you, and if you're not prepared, they might be like, well, maybe next time, and then there is not really a next time, So you want to stay ready, and you want to take whatever opportunities you're given to follow your path and the things that you want to do. Because enough of us don't get those opportunities, you know. Hopefully we can create a world in which it's the case that all of us can chase our opportunities and have the extra cash and time to concentrate on things besides just, I gotta pay my rent, I gotta go to work, I gotta feed, blah, blah, I gotta pay this bill, I gotta pay that bill. You know, we get into this, especially in New York, it's so easy to get into this state of just autopilot where it's just about rent. Honestly, it's just about rent. And, you know, I know that this break has been terrible for some, but it's been a real eye-opener for, I think, most people. And it's important to keep these things that you're learning, to remember them. It's important. So yeah, that is what I wanted to say on ideas of luck, you know? Other than that, I think I've spoken enough. I'm almost out of tea. It's kind of better when it's cold. Anyway, so I'm gonna open it up on my Instagram. I'm gonna put a little box there, and if you want me to continue on about something else, if you want me to clarify anything else, if you're interested in anything that I have said, feel free to plug it in there and I'll see it. Other than that, thank you for sitting through this whole thing if you did. I don't know how long this is going to be when I edit it down, but thank you. And I will see you next time on whatever I'm doing with this channel. Maybe just continuous updates, which, you know, is a thing. It's a thing that I can do. I'm busy enough now, I suppose. And I'll talk to you later. Take care.